You built a business people love, but behind the scenes, it's all on you. Vision to Grow is your space to lead with clarity, hire with purpose, and finally breathe again. I'm Chrissy, your no-fluff leadership expert, here to help you hire better and lead teams with less mess. Hello and welcome back to Vision to Grow, or if this is the first time you are joining us, welcome. I'm Chrissy and this is Vision to Grow, the podcast for service-based business owners who are scaling and leading and learning how to get out of the weeds without losing their mind or their visionary magic. Today's episode is a little bit personal and also incredibly practical because we're talking about what happens when you change, not your business, you as a CEO, as a founder, as a leader, but what happens when your business hasn't caught up yet. So maybe your systems are still running the way they did when it was just you and a VA, or maybe your team still expects you to answer every question, or maybe, like what I'm going to share today, your very name no longer feels aligned with who you are. This is one for the leaders navigating identity shifts, whether that's personal, professional, or everything in between. So let's start with the big one and why I'm recording this podcast. You're going to start noticing a little change. So going forward, professionally, I'm Chrissy L. E-L-L-E. So L is short for Michelle, which is my middle name. And honestly, this is something I thought about for such a long time. And that name feels like mine. My voice, my roots, and my little present to myself. So to give you context of why I'm doing this, I am the artist formerly known as Christina Saffioti or Chrissy Saffioti. I've carried my married name for years. So since I got married in 2016 and my divorce was finalized in 2023. Now, Saffioti is my married name. It is Italian and it's my kid's name. It is still my legal name. And that connection is really important. It is really important for me and it always matters. But here's the thing. I've been building a brand, a body of work, and a legacy that no longer fits my identity. And it bothers me to build something in what is essentially someone else's name. So as I'm recording this episode, I will be in the UK and I will be introducing my kids to a family that they've barely met. So I'm English. I lived in Australia for 16 years. But my kids are Australian. And yes, some of my family's come over from the UK, but because of COVID, because of getting a divorce, because of extreme co-parenting tension, all of this has made this big trip to the UK impossible until now. So the name change isn't a rebrand, it's reclaiming. And while it feels a bit clunky, like when you when you're pregnant and you call your baby the real name instead of the baby, the bump, the prawn, Chrissy L feels a little bit different, but I know the more I use it, the more it's going to feel like me. And if you don't know this about me, I actually did a degree in sociology and I did a lot on gender studies and the patriarchy and names. I could have used my maiden name, which is Henderson, but I have moved forward from when I was 31. I'm 40 this year. I haven't been Christina Henderson for nearly far out. What did I say I got married in? 2016? So look, by the time I change it, it's nearly 10 years. That person has not existed anymore and I have evolved past it. So I am excited about this evolution. And look, the business and the podcast has the word grow in it because I'm always growing and I'm always changing, as we all are. That's my big change. So layering on all of the stuff that's happened, I also talked in a previous episode about ADHD diagnosis. So for me, everything sort of clicked and needed to shift. So I've always been an integrator, the doer, a strategist, but now ADHD has forced me to reconsider everything. The meds change you. The diagnosis for me anyway has changed me. How I lead, how I delegate, how I process information, how I share with my clients. The podcast is new. There's so much things changing. But I now build systems that support how I work, not how the textbook says I should. So I started in business, sort of building the business 2021 with a launch January 2022. And I think for me, I did feel like I was kind of doing what I thought I should be doing and not what felt strong in my identity. And I think a lot of women can relate to that, right? Sometimes we go through so many changes in our 30s or our 20s or whenever it happens, having babies, getting married, far out for me, getting divorced, building a business. Like, these are huge identity shifts. So I want to be honest and true to everyone, podcast listeners, and my business. It feels a bit me, but we are going somewhere with this. So look, I want to, in this identity, in this evolution, I want to hold better space for my clients because I understand ADHD with my diagnosis. I do find like attracts like. So I find clients that are absolutely brilliant, visionary women, but maybe have slightly scattered energies. And they come to me because I'm like them, but I like systems and people and integrating. So the amazing, it is predominantly women that I help in business, are absolute visionaries. They're not broken, but sometimes they're building business. They get to a certain point and they're incredible. And that's what's got them so far as a visionary. But behind the scenes, they're building it in a way that doesn't fit them. They're plugging in systems and tech and team in a way they think they should be doing it and not in a way that necessarily works for them. Not yet, anyway. So I want to zoom out on the whole when life happens mid-business, because life is always going to happen to us. I had an amazing podcast episode, the one before this one, where I spoke to the amazing Janet, who runs an SEO business. And she very much talked about a massive shift in her business and how she navigated through it. Because when we zoom out, identity doesn't just shift from the inside, it shifts when life hits. So like I said, when you get married, when you become a mum, when you get divorced, when you go through menopause, when you lose a parent, when you're grieving, or when you get a health diagnosis, these aren't just personal events, they're leadership events too. They're going to affect how you show up. They're going to change your energy, what is priority, what you focus on, and your bandwidth to be able to support and look after other people. Quick question. Are you still the one fixing team mistakes, rewriting client emails, or approving Canva drafts at 10 p.m? If you've built the business and hired the team, but still feel like the glue holding everything together, then it's time for a real shift. Leadership Essentials is a one-day in-person workshop designed to get you out of the weeds and back into your CEO seat with clarity, confidence, and a team that moves with you. It's happening in Perth on Friday, the 12th of September, and Sydney on Wednesday, the 24th of September. You'll walk away with practical tools to lead better, reclaim your time, and build the business you actually want to run. There are only 15 seats per city, and pricing is discounted for a few more weeks before it jumps up to full price. And this event will sell out. DM me the word leader on Instagram and I'll send you the link, or just scroll down. The link is in the show notes. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, go do that now. Your next level leadership starts here. And that's why I talk to my clients about leadership architecture. You need systems that don't collapse when your life does. When you're building a business and particularly a team, when you're getting support and it's not just you anymore, we need to know who's responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed with everything in your business. So this is key to delegation, and the responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed actually calls from something called a RACI, R-A-C-I. It is a tool I teach on delegation. It is not my system. It is a well-known business system. But you, as a business owner, you're always accountable for everything that goes out of the door, everything you deliver to your clients, everything with your name on it or your marketing, particularly if you are still the face of the business. Well, you're not necessarily responsible for doing all the do anymore. So you still hold the vision and you maybe are still the name in your business, maybe, but you don't need to be the glue for everything anymore. You also don't need to give it all away. You just need to structure it. That is the difference between scaling and spinning. So when we look at growth and identity friction, this is what nobody tells you. As your business grows, your identity can start to feel like it is splitting, particularly if you have a business that is branded as you, and you built this brand as you. And then you get a team, more offers, maybe a bigger personal brand, a podcast, and suddenly your role doesn't look anything like it did when you name your business with your name. So a lot of clients, particularly those with personal brands, this is quite often the case with business coaches or website builders. A lot of them, or those type of business, or Pilates instructors, a lot of businesses will build those businesses with their name on it, which is totally fine. But they did this thinking they just wanted to work for themselves and didn't necessarily expect to manage people, lead projects, or delegate whole functions of their business. They built it thinking it's just me and a VA, and that is going to be enough. But if you're really serious about making more impact, even as a personal brand, it is not enough. To really scale, you need team. And you need to go from being the engine to being the driver. And that transformation can feel absolutely jarring if you don't have clarity about who you are now as a human and as a leader in your business. So one of the key things I teach my clients is this. This is the leadership focus of the Grow Advantage model. Vision is your destination and clarity is how you get there. It's one of the first things we talk about when it comes to leadership skills. Vision is your destination and clarity is how you get there. And yes, sometimes the destination can change. You might go down a new road. You might shift your offers. You might even change your name. But you still need a plan. You still need a strategy. And you still need a roadmap to get there. Otherwise, even the most exciting businesses will stall. And I know this might not be fun, particularly if you're a real visionary brain, but you will go through this at some point, and there is always support to help you. Being a leader, being a CEO, and leadership isn't about having all of the answers. It's making sure that your team and your clients, but particularly because it's me, I'm talking about your team, they want to know where you're going and how they fit into that journey. So particularly if you're a growing business, you're in a scale phase, I'm going to touch on leading through change. So this is what I want you to know. You don't have to figure everything out in your business quietly in isolation. I've seen so many founders trying to evolve in silence. We need support. You can shift as a CEO how you want to work. You can shift and you might feel a little disconnected from your brand or your team. And there's so many changes you can make to hold space for that. I've seen business owners that carry it all alone and then wonder why things feel heavy. So the most beautiful part of having a team is that you have other people to share your business journey with you. But being a leader means you need to bring those people with you. It means saying, hey, I've changed, we're evolving, and here's what that means for us. That is showing absolute clarity to your team. It's communication and it's courage. And that in turn will foster an amazing culture because you're taking your team on the journey with you. That's clarity of your vision. So we've touched on quite a bit today. The main things that I want us to reflect on are it's okay to change. We're all on a massive journey of self-discovery as business owners. And maybe something big happens to you. Your marital status changes. Where you live changes. There's a loss. There's growth. There's health. That's okay. It's your business and you can change it. You just need to take other people on the journey with you. It's always going to be your vision. It's clarity once it's not just you anymore that is the game changer. Because if you know the vision and you have clarity, i.e. the processes and the steps to get there, you can lean on other people for support. When we lead through change, especially when we're scaling, things do change for your original OG team members, and that's okay. You just need to manage that with them. We'll do a whole other episode on change management. It's really, really powerful, but we can work through all of the identity friction and all of the changes as long as we have clarity of our vision. This is what I want to leave with you. You are absolutely allowed to grow. You're allowed to change, and you're allowed to outgrow your business name, your personal name, the original role you had in your business, and your identity that once fit when you started, because you are now building something bigger than you ever imagined. And for me, it's a name shift. It's ADHD changes. There's a whole new leadership lens that I'm looking at it through. And here's the thing, this is not just about me. I'm sharing this with you because I want to help you build a business that fits who you actually are now, not where you started. If we're going to drill down to key takeaways, this is what I want to leave you with. Your leadership must evolve with you. You don't have to cling to old roles or old systems because they once worked. Upgrade your leadership architecture as you grow. And if you've never really drilled in on focused on leadership, if you never really drill down and focused on leadership, this is what I'm here for. So keep listening and keep following. You don't ever have to carry change alone. So communicate shifts. Share the why, the vision of your business, and invite your team into the new version of the business and yourself, and encourage them to do the same. And you can always stay in control while you're managing changes. So use delegation tools like the RACI, the responsible, accountable, communicated with, and informed that I talked about. So you can delegate things with clarity. It's not about fully stepping back. It's about setting your team up with a structure. So it's still your vision, but it's not all on you. So if this episode hit home, make sure you share it with a founder that you love, with a CEO that you love. And if your business is growing fast, but you need some help with that leadership identity, building yourself a role that makes sense, or building out your systems, team, or hiring processes, that's me, leadership, hiring, and team, you can absolutely book a clarity call in with me. I would love to chat to you. And this is for the people who are serious about getting this right now, because they don't want to rubber band the solution anymore. I am so excited that you listened to this episode. It was a big deal for me to get on the mic and share about my identity shift. I will share more about the ugly, messy truths behind why I'm changing my name in the future. But for now, it's still pretty fresh. So I'm signing off with the first time ever today as Chrissy L. I am so excited to rebuild your business around the real you.
Audience exclusive.